Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Adrian from Major Mateo Drones, alongside my boy, brother Dre, AK Recovery One Drone. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good yourself, Adrian?
Doing pretty good. A little tired, but I'll be all right. See that we have brother Stephen Drones already here in the house. Thank you for popping in, buddy. Really appreciate that. I see you got a little link here, brother Stephen Drones. Let's see what you were talking about, sir.
Before we show that, Adrian, let's just talk a little bit, let the folks join in from wherever they're coming from. That way everybody can see the video. I see the majority of folks who pop in see the video. Then we
Ten
can
four.
push on.
10-4. How you doing, brother Marty? Thank you for popping in, sir. Brother Dominic Northside Hawk, how you doing, sir? Thank you for popping in. Really appreciate that. Let me go ahead and mute this right here. Let me go ahead and also do this before we get that rolling. What's going on, brother V Dub? Long time no see, so thank you for popping in. I really appreciate that. Let me put the link here. I don't normally do that, but I do have the link in the chat if anybody wants to jump in. Hey, Dre, do me a favor. Say something in the chat so the link will actually go up once, so I'll be able to pin it. Because right now it won't let me do it.
Yeah, I see it.
Here you go.
Stephen.
I'll do it now. The link is pinned to the chat if anybody wants to join.
Okay.
Appreciate that. So, what is it again, brother Drew, that we're gonna go ahead and do?
Oh no, I was going to just address everybody as they start to trickle in now. I was going to ask
Okay.
Maddie about his back. I heard he threw his back out, bending over, playing
Okay.
with a drone, and I was
I'm
going to
sorry
ask
to hear
him
that.
how's he feeling. I know I can sneeze the wrong way and throw my back out, dude.
I do have one announcement, and I'm gonna try to keep this going throughout the stream. But we do need to go ahead and please keep our drum brother Bob Casey, in prayer because his mother actually has battling really bad cancer, and he had to take her to the emergency room last week. So he wanted me to go ahead and let everybody know to please keep him and his family in prayers. I really appreciate that. His mother is not doing very good. So with that being said, yeah, they just keep him in prayers on his family as well.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, Mayor Drone 4K, ¿cómo está, mi amigo? Thank you for popping in. I really appreciate that. Go ahead, Dre.
I was going to say a lot of people don't understand. It means a lot to other drone people in our community when we lift them up when they're going through tough times or lost in their families, or those who may be sick, who they're caring for. A lot of us, this is their closest friends on these drone shows. So don't take this lightly when we hear about one that needs to be lifted up. That's what we should do, is lift them up, and everyone do it in their own way. Reach out to Bob, or just pray in your own way, your own form, and let him know that we care about you. We care about your families and stuff. And on that note, each year, or let's say every other year, I try to do something for the drone community. And this year, what I've done is I have taken some of the funds that I have earned over the year or so, and I got some hats and some mugs created, and I sent them out to those who do drone shows. And the reason why I did it for them this time is that a lot of these guys put in a lot of time. Doing a weekly drone show is not easy. It pretty much takes up most of any free time you have when you're doing a drone show, a live stream.
With that being said, we got Paul Widget Big in the house. And look what he just said, Dre.
Yeah. Paul got his Friday, and I was just saying, Paul, that we were talking about Bob Casey. His mom is taken seriously ill, and just lift him and his family up but I was explaining what I did this week. Some people are getting theirs as we speak. According to my shipping forecast here, tracking situation, I think majority of folks will get theirs Monday or Tuesday of this upcoming week. But what I said was that I wanted to do something for the live streamers out there and how much, thank them for how much time they have put forth in their weekly shows. It takes a lot of their time away from their families, away from whatever else they could possibly be doing to provide these drone shows for all of us out there. A lot of these shows are very informative. Talking about what's coming out, what's some of the leaks out there, what are some of the new software updates that are out there that keeps us informed. A lot of us, this is where we get our information from shows just like this one. So, you may hear over the next week or so some people displaying what I sent out or whatever the case may be. But that was my motivation, was just to thank them. A lot of times they give away stuff which comes out of their pockets. Just because somebody does a live stream doesn't mean they're a like, I guess you call what's the term, YouTuber, monetized. Yes, the term. Doesn't mean they're all monetized. I mean, you can have over 1,000 followers and still not choose to be monetized. Some do it, some don't. So when you talk about getting these items processed, developed, and the shipping can be quite expensive. So like I say, I just did what I did to thank them for what they do and know that I appreciate it for what they do.
Let me go ahead and welcome Brother Al Diaz, Time to Fly. We also have Brother Hot Rod in Daytona. Thank you for popping in. Really appreciate that. Yeah, that is always tough time to go through when you have a loved one, like your mother, your dad, wife, fiance, son, daughter,
Right.
nephew, uncle, whatever it is, going through those tough times, and just see them in that state of mind where it's just a matter of time when, don't like using the word, but when it's time for them, to go, it's not easy to have to deal with that. I've dealt with it before, so I know how it is, and it's not very pretty. Like how my daddy and my mother is right now. I'm not used to seeing them looking so slim and so fragile. Dre, I'm always used to see my mother being this tough lady. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My dad just being this tough guy, and now they just, they just they look like they just. I know it's them, but they just do not look the same like what I'm used to seeing them back in the days.
Yeah, I know. My parents are, my dad's 92, mom's 88, and every time the phone rings, I get a little apprehensive, thinking that could be a call that I don't want to have to take.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's why I try to take as much time as I can. Even like the last 2 days, I went out and did a job yesterday, stopped by my parents' house to do a little something small, one of the TVs or whatever. And then today I went and did another job, stopped by their house on the way home. And I said, any reason I can get to stop by there just to check on them, I know they really appreciate that. And that's why I try to teach my kids, and my parents try to teach it to me, that when my grandparents were around, they used to tell me to stop by and say hi. My dad used to put in perfect sentences. He said, you don't have to stay long. He said, I don't care if it's 5-10 minutes, but you don't understand how important that is to them at that age. If you just stop by, just to say hi and bye and check on them and be on about your way. It just lets them know that they are still on your mind, still in their hearts. So like I say, impress upon yourself, especially if you have children who still have great, your parents still around, make sure they make that connection, that grandparent to grandchild connection. If they're fortunate enough, like I was, to have great grandparents that were still around, make sure they spend some time together. Because that is very important, because now you're talking about family history being passed down from one generation to another. So that is real important.
Yeah.
So,
Was that spinner, was that today or when
yeah,
did
it's
it
just, well, it's a weekend thing. I think it started last night, and today is the big day where they have the little conference session on different things, and the speakers come out, and I think they finish up tomorrow with I guess a big fly off or whatever they want to call it, and in it from there. I know it wasn't advertised as much as it has in the past, but I heard they had a decent size turnout still.
Okay, that's probably where everybody is out there. The spin-off is
Well, yeah,
taking over Thunder.
there's a few folks there, and like I said, they're doing something. I think it was Joe, is it Block, that put out a couple of videos that he did from flying one of his small drones inside while they're taking a break, and caught some of the folks from the outside and everything else. So there's a couple of videos on there this year. They did not do a live stream, which I was hoping for this year, but I guess they opted not to go that route. But like I said, we always want to wish those folks who did attend, thank them for the support that they gave out to those guys down in Austin, Texas. So like I say, we got to support one another whenever we can. I know for me, it's hard for me to get away right now because most of the work I do is on weekends. So I'm flying at least a minimum 3 weekends out of 4 a month on average. So it's hard for me to get away, because I can't do most of my flying work during the week because of my regular job. So I can't, get ahead of the game unless I take time off from my regular job and fly some of my flying jobs early in the week.
If there's a little ticker going for Bob Casey, can you see that, Dre?
I see it come across the stream. I
Yeah.
didn't catch. Okay, yeah.
Okay, it's coming through. I see it now. Okay.
Yeah, it's coming across. Yeah, I was just reading Paul's message about he's not monetized, and it costs him a little bit of pocket change. Yeah, and like I said, it can be quite expensive. Doing the things. Like I said, I know Paul usually does a giveaway every week on his show, sends out a mug or whatever, and then I know Johnny does the sticker package, which is basically he just turn around. People sends him stuff, and he turns around and gives it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's just these are things people take out of their own pockets many times to pass out. All right. Now that we got a few folks here, we got 8 watching, we got 11 thumbs up. We got a good ratio.
Appreciate the love and support, by the way, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's talk about a little bit about Lance, Lank, whatever, how you will pronounce it, whatever the case may be. And I'll just give you a little scenario of what I had to go through since last month when I was able to take care of the job. Today, it's going to be a job. So let me start beginning. I get a call from a client, says they have a job. They want the person wants the area flown twice a month, yada, 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 and I said, my first question when I talk with a client is 2 things. One, I asked them, is this accessible from a paved road? Because I don't take my car out on dirt roads. Okay. I don't own an SUV. Go ahead.
Just give me 1 second, Brother Dre.
All right.
Let's go ahead and welcome Brother Jody, Drone Shots, also Brother RC Dude, FPV UK. Thank you for popping in. I really appreciate that, sir. Thank you. Go ahead, Dre.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't take my car, any of my vehicles out on dirt roads, all that kind of stuff out in the bush. One day I plan on buying a truck or SUV that I'll be able to do that, and I'll take on more work out in the boonies. But that's the first question I ask. My second question I ask is, what's the airspace? Because a lot of times when you deal with clients, they are not locally where you're at. Okay. Only thing they go by is whatever airspace map they're using. So a lot of times things get missed. And this is a situation here, not that it got missed, they just didn't do enough homework on location. The location is in Ontario, California. And it's just southeast of the Ontario airport. And is just outside the, I would say, the blue zone into the yellow zone, which pretty much that area gives you 400 feet AGL most of the time on most areas that you fly. So that wasn't the issue right off the bat. What they failed to realize, there's another airport, Chino Airport, which is about 5 to 8 miles south of the Ontario Airport, which will put me northeast of that airport. Okay, so what happens is you have overlapping airspace, and they don't have matching grid altitudes. So what happened is that the Ontario Airport, if you went to get lanced to whatever, through a loft or whatever program you want to use, Kitty Hawk, or what is it, loft, and Air Map when they used to do it, whatever program you use to get your lance approval, would automatically go to the bigger airport, would be Ontario. So what has happened is, on the Chino Airport, DGI had geofenced the area because where the spot where I was flying at was right at the end of the bow tie. So it only gave me ability to go up to 196 feet. I need to go up to 400 feet to do the mapping job that I've been assigned to do. All right. So when I found this out, I told the client, hey, we have an issue here with dual airspace issues. So I told them what I would have to do is go to the drone zone and submit a request for authorization. Not that I actually need it for that area per se to fly, because the drone would take off and fly, but I didn't know which one would have precedent over the other.
Yeah.
And it's lucky I did that, because when I submitted for the authorization to the drone zone, to the FAA, they initially wanted to deny it. And I fought back and says, hey, I need this authorization. And I told them circumstances, their thing was, well, it's a lance area. You can just submit it every time you go. I said, I'm doing this twice a month. I'm booked for 12 flights. So give me a authorization for 4 months, which will cover 12 flights, and I'll be good. And I told him, I said, the reason why I need this is so I can get DJI to unlock the drone, so I can fly at. Usually when I do a 400-foot flight, I fly at 396 feet, and that usually rounds it up to about 400 when it's in the air.
Yeah.
So they understood what I needed, because I told them what was happening for the Chino Airport, and they said, "Oh, okay, we get it now." So that is what had to happen. So I had to submit a custom unlock through DJI's FlySafe website, and use that PDF form that the FAA sends you showing your authorization. They'll send you a copy of a PDF, and that is what you use to submit to DJI as your proof of authorization. Is a PDF document, and says, okay, now we will unlock your drone to fly at the higher altitudes. So that was my situation with that, and like I said, those are some of the hurdles you may have to go through. In addition, because like I say, Lance is not perfect. That's why I named the video "Lance is not perfect." There still might be some hurdles that you need to jump through to get what you need done.
Hey, Dre, read this from Stephen Drummond.
Dre, I use airspace. I was 4 miles from an airport. Airspace said I could go only 200 feet for 60 minutes. Yeah, you may have one like that. Now, if you, like I said,
hey, brother John Jump Flyer, thank you for popping in, buddy.
And like I said again, I was in a overlapping airspace where the larger airport would give me 400 feet. The smaller airport, which has no commercial traffic, no passengers, is basically, as you say, a hobbyist airport, to put it into terms. But I was at the end of that bow tie. So I would be flying in their approach and takeoff area. And that's why DJI was really the obstacle here. They geofenced the drone for that area to only 196 feet. I could do it all day long, but it limited that. but I need to fly at a higher altitude. So that's why I had to go through the Drone Zone website and apply for it. And then in turn, the FAA called me and says, why are you applying for this when it's already 400 feet? And I had to explain to them, not actually the way it works. And I said, Ontario being the dominant airport, yes, it is 400 feet, but Chino is a smaller airport, and I'm right at the end of the bow tie, and DGI has limited the altitude grid there to 196 feet. And once I told them that, they said, okay, we understand, granted my approval for the next 4 or 5 months, boom, got it done. And that way I was able to use that document once they sent it to me to submit to DGI to release the drone to let me go up to 400 feet.
Yeah.
So that's the whole story there. And like I say, you may run to a lot of different things flying in controlled airspace. And like I say, using LAMP, like I say, if you need to fly higher than what you're given, if it be in Lance or, maybe you have I know GGI will put some limited height in certain areas to where you can't fly above 150, 200 feet, all that kind of stuff. That's when you need to go through Drone Zone and says, hey, DGI has geofenced me here. I need an authorization from you guys so I can submit it to DGI, and they'll release the drone to fly at a higher altitude. That maybe that's what it is for the FAA. So there's always certain things like I say, certain hurdles where you will put it in that you still may have to go through to get that the required AGL that you want. Now we all know that if you want to fly above the stated grid AGL,
Hey, brother Chris Hope.
you're good to go.
Hey,
Chris.
Let me do something right quick. Hang on just 1 second.
Are you on the spin up?
Hey,
Yeah, he's
everybody.
out there.
Hey, y'all say hello to Adrian and Dre.
Hey, everybody. What's going on?
I see a Rodney Bell. I see Joe Fidelio.
Man, we just had some Adrian enchiladas.
Oh, man.
You know the ones that'll make a turd in the morning. That's what we ate. Hey,
Oh,
Dre.
Yes, sir.
I got a fellow Californian right here, dude. So you come this way.
I heard he was taking off Friday. Yeah, this is Steve Carpenter.
Hey, Steve, what's going on?
Hey,
Hello from Austin, Texas, with my brother Chris.
all right. You represent us well there.
Williamson, Rodney Bell,
Yeah, Rodney.
Mr. Barkley walking away, Doc Murdoch,
Yeah.
Joe Fotis.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen Doc Murdoch in a while.
Got Brad.
What's up?
Brad,
Yeah,
what's
Brad.
going on?
Brad.
Dennis,
Oh,
love lady.
Dennis is not put on a concert.
This is Adrian.
Brother Oz.
Yeah.
Adrian Gray.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, Big Mike.
Guns or drones?
Yeah.
No, this is drones.
Okay, I can be on this show. I can't be
Yeah.
on the gun show because I don't own one.
So,
Anyway,
Chris, you
we
tell.
just finished up and I knew you was online, man, so I thought I had to harass you a minute.
I appreciate it, brother Chris.
You
Thank you,
tell
man.
Dennis I'm kind of
Hang on.
surprised he's not put on a concert.
Baby. Shake it, baby, shake it. This is the owner right here.
No. I'm the caretaker.
He's a caretaker.
He's the caretaker.
Yeah.
You guys take care.
All right,
All
man.
right.
Thank you for popping in, boys.
Tell everybody
Good deal.
if y'all can hear me okay. We had a good time today at Spin Up.
All right, man.
Yeah.
No
Great.
drones lost. We're all good.
Good deal. Good
See
deal.
y'all.
All right, Chris.
Bye-bye.
What's going on, brother? This is Dean at PV. Thank you for popping in. Brother Uncle Bill, thank you for popping in. Mr. Steve, Johnny Drone Flyer, thank you for popping in. Tim Jackson, I appreciate that. Please, guys, go ahead and smash the thumbs up on the stream. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So there you go,
What's
folks.
going on,
We got
brother
a,
Art? I appreciate for you popping in, sir.
We got a on the scene report from Chris Hope at Spin Up. So you guys got a chance to see who is there. All right. That's great. Glad they had a good time, and everybody looks like they're got a full belly.
Yeah, pretty much. What's going on, brother Steve? SC Aero Steve Carpenter. Dang
Yeah.
it, man. There's a lot of people over there in the spin up.
Yeah, I said it's a decent crowd showed up there. I know all the Texas contingent all showed up there. And there's quite a few guys there in Texas and close by from Colorado and a few other places that travel down there. I think his name is around the tip of my tongue now. He used to be up in Colorado guy. Oh, his name just escapes me right now. He just put out a video this recently. He does the tattoo art.
Yeah, Sean Ash, you mean?
Yeah, Sean. Yeah, Sean. That's it, Sean. Sean likes to sneak into California and don't tell nobody and sneak out. Then he puts a video up later when he gets back to Colorado. I keep teasing when he does that. So I see how you are, dude. I didn't realize he was originally from California for a while. He used to have a tattoo shop, or he worked for somebody else out here in one of the beach cities.
Yeah.
He used to do tattoos for about, I guess it'd be about almost 20 years ago now. That's where he got his start out here in California in one of the beach cities. So that's quite impressive. And
So, Trey, when it comes to that Lance, whatever you keep saying, whatever it is, it's called. Yeah. Has that ever given you any issues or problems of any kind?
No, I've always been able, like I say, if you think ahead of time, you can figure it out. Now you're out there in the field, that's when you can get a little frustrated because anytime you're out there, you're just trying to get things done.
Yeah.
And for me, since I'm out there, like I say, time is money. So I don't want to spend 2 or 3 hours out there because then I'm not making money. I'm killing time. So that's where the frustration comes in for me. That's why I always try to make sure I have covered my bases as best I can in advance. And it almost caught me off guard a couple of weeks back where I had a job in the northern part of Ontario, California, to do a solar panel job on a warehouse. The original date was on a certain date, and I put in for my Lance approval and all this kind of stuff in advance. No problem. I got bumped from that date to a week later, and it didn't dawn on me. I had so many other things going on that it didn't dawn on me to do it in advance. So the day I was out there, I did a job in another part of the county over in Redlands, California, drove back to Ontario. And when I got there, I said, oh man, I got to do this. But it shouldn't have been an issue because everybody knows, if you're in a certain grid and whatever you're going to do is not going to be that high of a flight, you can do a self unlock on the spot. So that's what I want to do. But what had happened is on the last update of the Maverick Enterprise Advance, it caused a glitch in the software on the drone that when the screens come up to do a self unlock, you get blank screens. So when it asks you to put the phone number in to send the verification code to unlock the drone,
yes,
I couldn't see it. There's a black, so I couldn't complete the process. So that day, I was just very lucky. I had my laptop with me, so I was able to go through the whole process on my laptop to get the unlock done.
But is there any reason why that happened?
It was a glitch. Cause I say I've done it before, no problems. Any other controller, I've done it. I really think on the last update, which was in September, for the Maverick Enterprise Advance, when everybody started getting those big updates to make it remote ID compliant.
Yes.
Something happened in that update that caused that glitch when you want to do a self unlock for that drone. Now, apparently there were some other ones because I just heard online today that the Matrice 30T, people said there's a new update that just came out in the last couple of days that cleaned up some of the bugs that was in the one that was in September. I don't know what all the bugs is. I know a lot of folks have been having issues but accessories with the M30T, as far as the spotlight not working correctly and all this kind of stuff. And I heard about this update today, so I have to figure out, because I haven't had to use my spotlight in probably over a year.
Yeah.
Stuff. So I haven't attached it to it to find out if there's any issues. Everybody, I just read what I read on in different forums and stuff. So I, like anything, every so often, I always check my drones for updates and to see if I'm up to go. But I say, if you don't have the accessory attached to it, that part doesn't get updated.
Yes, sir.
And just like with this new Phantom 4 RTK I have, I know the controller and the drone has gotten updates, but also my my base station needs to have an update also for the Phantom RTK. It's already been updated to work with my Mavic 3 Enterprise drone, and already works with the M30T with no problem. But like I say, that's why you learn about this stuff. You'll find out that same piece of equipment has a different setting for different drones. Now, like I say, the Mavic 3 Enterprise and the M30T, they on the same settings of using that RTK system, base station system. But the Phantom 4 RTK has a different setting. So I got to update it to be compatible with the update on the Phantom 4 RTK, which that is now remote ID compatible also. It came out in a big update at the end of September, or was it the early part of this month in October? They came out with a big update. So yeah, there's always some glitches you got to watch out for. And unfortunately, sometimes you don't catch the glitches until you're in the field. And that's why I always talk about having backup plans and stuff, having a backup drone, backup tablets, all this kind of stuff. And like I said, that day I had the laptop out, and that served as my backup to get my authorization, because I couldn't get on the controller and everything. So, I mean, it was not for me having that out with me on that job that day. I would have to go home and not be able to finish that job.
Yeah. Hey, brother, DZ Dean FPB, congrats on that Mini 4, man. I guess I'm happy for you that you actually, having fun with that thing. I've never flown one of those, so I can't even tell you nothing on how that one is. What's going on, brother Akirasha? Thank you for popping in, buddy. GSK Enterprise, thank you for popping in. I really appreciate that. I've heard some good stuff about that Mini 4 Pro.
Yeah.
Again, I've never seen it. I don't know what it looked like.
It looked like the Mini 3.
It probably
And
does.
you hate the Mini 3.
I don't know.
You hate the Mini 3 just by how it looks.
That Mini 3 is trash to me, so I don't like it.
Yeah. I gotta tell people, I said, if you're new to drones, these mini drones are giving you the best of the best. If you're just getting into the hobby itself. Like I said, those of us who've been around for a while, we look at it and say, okay, what's everybody getting excited about? Just like I made a comment on somebody else's video talking about the new advanced return to home. And I had to make the comment, I said, what am I missing here? I said, I guess they call it precision or whatever it is. Return to home has been around since the Phantom 4 Pro version 2. It's been around since then. The only thing I see with the Mini 4, and I guess there's an upgrade to the Mavic 3. I said they put a little more graphical, show that it shows you the path of the return to home on your screen. But I always look at something. I said some things are very nice to have, and they're very aesthetically pleasing. But I always look at the other side. I said, how much battery power is all this extra stuff costing me? Because like I put in a video a couple of weeks back about how we have all these drones that are out there, starting with the mini drones that are flying 30, 40 minutes at a time. But the controllers are not getting beefed up as far as their battery power. So you go out there, think you're going to fly 3 or 4 batteries with some of these drones, and your controllers is starting to flash. They only got like 2 bars left, and you're like, "Wow, I'm only in my second battery, and my controller is about to go out." People always talk about, "Well, bring a charger." I said, "Yeah, you can bring a charger. I bring a charger out for my stuff, but there's always the issue is you still got to stop flying to charge the controller." It's one thing to charge a battery when you got another battery there. You just take it out of the drone and put another battery in, and you charge that battery. You pretty much solve your problem. But you don't have controllers. There's very few controllers until you get to the enterprise level that has replaceable batteries for the controllers themselves.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, that, once your controller gets to a very low point, you don't want to have that. You don't want to have your drone out there a quarter of a mile down range, and then all of a sudden you start hitting this little beeping thing, controller's going dead or whatever, and because then your concern is, am I too far out for the drone to get that signal to automatically return to home? Because everybody who tests it says, "Oh yeah, the drone's right up above me, and we're going to turn the controller off." I said, "Well, that's a safe way of testing.
Yeah.
Put it out down range a while, in an urban environment, and shut your controller off, and let's test it then. When it's got to maneuver around some buildings, some trees, and other kind of spots that might have been low areas that you had connection to start with, and now you have no connection."
You know one thing, Dre? It's been a while. It was a long time ago, a few years ago. I was flying my DJI Mavic Air, and I was flying it just fine, but I was around this big old electric pole that have the big wires. I mean, the big one where they have the big old transformers and all that stuff on the pole. And all of a sudden, I stopped. My drone literally went ahead and turned around the other way and took off by itself. And I'm thinking that maybe the current from the light pole, the electricity, took over the drone and just started going the opposite way. I had to literally force land it on the ground, and it literally just dropped. They won't even, how you normally hit the stick down and they will land smoothly. They won't even do that. They just slam it to the ground.
Yeah. And like I say, anything's possible. Everybody's experience will be different. Like, see, yours turn other direction. Other people's going to forced landing. Some folks, actually, it works as it is designed. It just finds a way back home, and no harm, no foul. But there's no guarantee. Now, I see Dizzy Dean talking about he loves the OcuSync 4, all this kind of stuff. And I tell people all the time, the biggest improvement on drones is not the OcuSync itself. The OcuSync is just a new way of protocol of Wi-Fi. It is the additional antennas that are now being placed in the controllers and on the drones is the biggest improvement for us connection. Like I said, they talk about what's on the Mavic 3. You have more antennas on the Mavic 3. I don't know how many antennas are on the Mini 4 or Mini 3, but like same thing in those controllers. That's why people talk about some of the controllers are better than the other ones, is because of some of the more expensive controllers have more than just the basic one antenna. And that's where the real big difference is. It's the number of antennas on the drone itself, and the extra antennas built into the controller amounts to a better connection overall. It's not so much, like I said, the OcuSync is just like you buying a better router in your house. Okay.
Correct.
Now you can, the old routers used to have 2 antennas. Now you got routers in your house that got 6 and 8 antennas on them. Look like upside down spiders and stuff. But what it is it causes a broader range of coverage because of the antennas that are on your router in your house, and the same philosophy goes in your drone. More antennas, better connectivity. Because like you say, when you're out there flying, you're turning the drone in different directions. All of us know we take off and we fly away, we usually get a strong signal. But when we turn around and that drone's coming at us, a lot of times that's when you start seeing the bars drop a little bit.
Yeah.
Because usually the antennas are in the rear legs of the drone. They're not in the front legs of the drone. So when you add more antennas to the front and in the back, lot better connectivity. Now, Dizzy D, I don't know much about the cameras. I know they've done some real nice magic stuff, starting with the Air 3, with the stack sensors there. I don't know. There's been kind of like going back and forth on the Mini 4, what it is. Some people say it's stack sensor. Some people it's not a stack sensor. But like I said, the technology is just getting better. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's like anything else. Every bit of technology is getting better. You know, whatever we had 2 years ago, 3 years ago, like I say, much better now.
It sure is.
So like I say, I guess that's why I say even these mini drones are very capable of doing a lot of stuff that drones of that size 4 years ago you would never dream of. So, you know, I take my hat off to all the manufacturers. I thought Autel was going to be battling DJI in that area, but Autel is kind of like says, you know what? Yeah, you know, we're not going to play.
Yeah.
You know, and that's about it.
How you doing, brother? USA Drone Flyer, Captain Joe America. Thank you for popping in. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Dre, when it comes to the your Final 4 Pro RTK,
Mm-hmm.
does it come with that RTK on top already, like it's there?
Yeah, it's built
or do you
in.
have to put it on yourself?
It's built in. It's part of the drone.
Built in, part of the drone.
Yeah, it's built in and part of the drone. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to that RTK, I've never used one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to use it. I think RTK stands for real time kinetics.
They driving me crazy.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that again? I'm sorry.
I'm saying that RTK stands for real time kinetics.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means that when you use, if you don't mind, kind of explain the RTK for me just a little bit when it comes to you doing your work. How does that work? I mean, does that mean that it corrects itself like to the centimeter? You know, how does that work?
There's two levels to the RTK. What I've been reading up on. You know, a lot of times this is why I say manufacturers put out information, but we all know, like they say, it's in the details that you got to figure out what's it actually doing, what it's not doing. There are certain drones where RTK, all it does for it is basically help it hold position better.
Okay.
Because, you know, if you put a drone up, so you put a drone up about, 50 feet, 100 feet, whatever, and let it hover there. Most drones will drift.
A little bit, yes, sir.
It'll drift up and down, side to side, all that kind of crazy stuff. But there are other drones, more, I would say, enterprise level drones. And my camera's fishing around, so I put my hand away, trying to get focus again. There are other drones that have what they call a clock mechanism in it, that where it uses the RTK not only for better positioning, but also for more accuracy in how the drone collects the data, as far as the timing of the pictures, the camera control, everything else. So that's why, you got to dig a little deeper into details to find out what drone you have and how it is affected by RTK. Now with the Phantom RTK, Phantom 4 RTK, it has if I get this correct, I think it has the internal sync clock system in it to make it more accurate in its picture taking and everything else. The Mavic Enterprise Advance doesn't have that clock system in it. So RTK on that one, it just basically said it will hold a better position line as it flies along.
Okay.
Both things will make you more accurate. It's just some are better than others when the use of it. So that's what I'm saying as far as what drone you have and what it's capable of doing when you add RTK with it. And it's kind of odd. Like I said, I did a couple of tests with the Intrip system. And I can't speak for every Intrip system. And people who may not know what Intrip is, basically, Intrip system is like a Wi-Fi system for RTK.
Okay.
All right. I have a base station that I set up on site, which sends out the sends out the additional GPS systems. Okay. I also live in an area because in the state of California, we have earthquakes, and California has a national seismic, I guess you call it like a radar system up and down the state along the known fault lines.
Okay.
All right. So by having that, it serves as a additional RTK system because it works with satellite. Now, the problem I have, like I said, I live close to Cal State San Bernardino. I know where the Intrip station sits, and I've flown over it many times because it's on top of a hill behind the college, and I've flown over it just doing some training. Now, I took it to one site about, say, 10, 12 miles away. First battery connected like a charm. Okay. After the first battery was done, I brought it back, put in the second battery, wouldn't connect again, no matter what I did.
Wow, that's crazy.
Okay. Now, I my thing was, I said, well, maybe come a little too far away, whatever, and stuff. So the next job I did next week, Adrian, I'm no more than 3 miles away from the college. If I had a pair of binoculars, I could probably see the Intrip station from where I'm at and everything. No mountains in the way, no tall buildings. It's straight line of sight. I put my drone up, got the RTK module on the drone, never could get connection at all. And I'm twice as close to the system that I was the other time. So I mean, and that's what my thing is, that it's inconsistent. Now I know it might be the thing here in California because ours is primarily designed for seismic activity monitoring, and it's secondary for RTK. So that could be the issue itself. But I was just kind of really disappointed in that because, like I say, my Maverick Enterprise Advance only works off Intrip. It doesn't work off the base station.
Okay.
My Phantom works off the base station. My Maverick 3 Advance works off the base station, and so does the M30T. They work off the base station and Intrip, either one. But the Enterprise Advance only works off the Intrip. So now I got to look at that. Okay, which drone can I use? Because now, like I say, about having different drones for different things and possibly backup drones for different things.
Yeah.
So now I got to worry about, do I take the Maverick Enterprise Advance out there, and if I want to use RTK, will it ever connect?
See, and that's kind of weird because if you burn a battery, no problem. Yeah. But then when you pop another one, I started doing that.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right. So I say, so now I have to make a decision. Do I bring the M30T out so I know I can use a base station with that, and I know I'm gonna get connection with that all day long. So like I say, it's kind of like, when you do commercial work, it's kind of like, that's why I say I always bring out two drones that can complete the job. They may not be the same exact drone, but the two drones that can get the job done. If one drone doesn't do it.
Hey, Dre, look what East Coast Thrill said.
Yeah. You have to set up the little towers. Is that the base station every time you fly with RTK?
What's going on?
I don't know if you see what I'm seeing. Yeah, if you see one of my videos, you see the tripod I put up, the long pole in the middle, and a little square thing on the top. That is the base station right there.
Hey, brother Michael's Drones on RCs. Thank you for popping in.
I saw. I think it was Dizzy D was talking about how I guess Ken Donald's using the Mini 4, and I tell folks Ken Donald does something totally different than what I do. Ken Donald does residential real estate is his bread and butter work. Okay, when you're doing residential real estate, there's not a requirement of what you fly or even what camera you use. because I know Ken Donald, like he's even said the other week on a video he put out, that he uses his DLSR is his main camera when he does his real estate shoots. Okay, the drone is just the added thing to it that helps him get the aerial shots to give it a little more pizzazz to it, a little more, I say B-roll to the whole presentation. But everything he does inside, he says, is primarily with the DLSR. Okay, and he'll probably tell you, just like I could tell you here, he could probably still be using one of those older Sony cameras that he used to use 3 or 4 years ago today, and the client wouldn't know any different. Now he upgrades his stuff just like I've upgraded my stuff to present a better product to the client. Not that the product he was using before was inferior, but like I say, getting the better technology, you get a little better results. Not nothing leaps and bounds, but just a little better results because you want to be better. You want to present something better to the client. So like I said, like anybody tells you in any kind of business, your reputation is your brand. Okay, that is you. And like I say, word of mouth is the best advertisement that you can have out there and stuff. So like I say, like I told my clients, I didn't get any of my clients asking me to upgrade to RTK. I took it upon myself because I wanted to up my product ability to provide something. So at the end of August, I think it's about mid-August, I contacted most of my main repetitive customers and says, starting in September, because I was kind of coinciding this with the remote ID release, that I will start having RTK product available for all the jobs I'm doing.
Okay.
Now, like I say, even the current jobs I've been doing for over a year. With one job I've been doing 3 years now. I'm now doing those same jobs now with RTK. The clients wasn't demanding it. It's not required, but I made the decision to upgrade it and provide it to the clients. And then, like I say, so now when something comes back and they have different jobs or jobs that do require RTK, hopefully my name is the first one that comes out of their mouth.
Now, when it comes to thermal, how many drones do you have? Do you have in your arsenal that has thermal? I know the M30T does. You said 2?
2. The Mavic Enterprise Advanced is thermal, and the Mavic 30T is thermal.
Okay.
And they both have the same identical camera specs with thermal. One is not. That's what I'm saying. One is not actually better than the other, and that's what I'm saying about having 2 drones to complete a job.
Yes.
Okay, so that way it gives me the option of which drone do I want to use, because they both can get the job done without losing anything from the actual task itself.
And I will assume that you already have the credentials to do thermal work if you want to.
No, I don't have a certification in thermal. I guess they call it thermology, thermology, or whatever it's called. I would like to do that in the future, but my main thing now is, like I tell a lot of folks, data collection is the primary thing what I do.
Okay.
Data collection, and that's why I tell people about, be careful when you talk to people or you advertise to folks about what you can do or what you can bring to the table. I do not tell folks that I do survey work, okay? Because that's not what I do. I do data collection work. I will fly it and collect the data. You go hire you a surveyor and our engineer, principal engineer, to be able to determine what he wants to do with the data I collect, okay? And the same thing with there's one thing, like, you got to ask yourself, you got solar panel work and you got roofing work. Now, for me, because of my background in construction, I can give you a analysis on your roof, okay?
Yeah.
Not because of the drone I use or whatever, it's because of my knowledge and my certification as an inspector. All right, I can tell you, yeah, your roof missing this, your flash needs a little, You got some issue here with your flashing, this kind of stuff, blah, 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 blah. Boom. That has nothing to do with the drone. Okay. Because before drones were around, somebody got on the roof and walked it and took pictures.
Correct.
Okay. The drone just gives me the ability to do it a lot more safer and a lot more efficiently. All right. So that's what I'm saying. People have to be careful on what they present themselves to be able to do a lot of time. And that's why I tell people, for me in the work I do, which is basically large developments, commercial construction, warehouse construction, things of that nature, it's about data collection. And in the video I did the other day about, RTK and GCPs. Okay. GCPs is the ground control points that a surveyor put in place for the drone to get itself orientated to get the pictures to formulate properly when they're processed. Okay. So like I say, I go out there and because of my experience, I know what markings to look for on the ground or on the laps, which is the little wooden sticks and everything else, to be able to determine where the surveyor markings are at. So that way I would know where to put my base station and not have to create one of myself, because that same base station I have, and it also has a setting I can create ground control points with that base station. That means I got to do a lot of walking around, and I got to go in and use probably my phone, put some software in my phone that would also give me oh man, I'm talking so much, my mind's running, the mouth can't keep up. Got to keep the GPS signals, and I have to write them down at each one that I set up, which means I have to walk a whole site to set up, because it basically says for every 10 acres, you need at least a minimum of 3 ground control points.
Yeah.
So that's every 10 acres. Yesterday, I flew a site that was 470 acres. So you just imagine how much walking I got to do, sit there and set ground control points, blah, blah, do all that kind of stuff, write them down, all this kind of stuff, before I even start a flight. I would be there pretty much all day, most of the time, setting up these control points if a surveyor didn't do it in advance, and then come back and fly it when I'm all done. And like I said, I have my own GCPs and stuff. Let me see if I can break one out here.
Hey, Brother Joe, while you're doing that, the video that you have, the Lance is not perfect. Does it have any music on it?
No, I'll take that back. It does have music on it at the very beginning. Yeah. I take that back. The very beginning, it's got about 20 seconds of music. And at the end, it's got about maybe 10 seconds of music. Okay. Now, see, if I had to, if somebody said, hey, we're going to pay you XYZ dollars to set the markings up, I have my own. I got about 10 of these to set up. So
Okay, that's part of your base station?
no, this would be if I had to get a gig and they needed me to set the ground control points because they didn't want to pay a surveyor to do it.
Okay.
I could do it, but it's not something I would throw out there and says, oh yeah, I brag about it and offer as a service, because I can tell people, when you start dabbling in surveyor stuff, you're putting yourself on the line legally.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what I'm saying, that, you could be sued for, like, when lawyer terms, for malpractice. Okay. Because what happens is when you're setting these surveyor marks, everything else on that job site references your markings. So unless you are a certified licensed surveyor, I wouldn't play with it. That's why I tell folks, be careful what you.
I'm gonna go ahead and play this real quick, Dre. So after that, if you could just kind of walk us through a little bit.
A little bit about getting Lance authorization and what that can entail. I'm in a location now where I am southeast of Ontario Airport, and I'm northeast of Chino Airport. They're roughly about 5 to 8 miles apart, but they do have a slight overlap in their airspace, both on control towers, so you have to get LANS approval to fly in either one of them. Well, my issue was here, I have a project that I'm on today where the Ontario airspace is 400 feet. No big deal, no problem. But the Chino airspace cuts me off, I should say DJI cuts me off GeoZone at 196. Well, I need to fly at 400. So what I had to do is actually go through the FAA fly zone and submit a authorization request because of that overlap. And I even had to talk to them directly because the first thing they said was they wanted to deny it because I was authorized 400 Ontario, but I said, well, according to DJI, I'm limited to 196. So sometimes you got to kind of like explain yourself and let the FAA know why you're asking for a authorization to fly in an area that already has LANS capabilities, and it just doesn't suit your needs. So a lot of times you get work from clients and they say, oh yeah, the airspace 400, but they have not done their homework. And this is why you as the pilot in command has to do your homework. You just can't take someone else's word for what it should be. So this is what I had to do here. And I went back and explained to them, hey, it's not what you say it is. This is what's going on here. So I told them we may have to hold off on this project for a couple of weeks until I get FAA authorization to fly in that zone because
go
of
ahead and cut
the
that off,
overlap.
Adrian.
Okay.
That last part where I was telling folks that when you apply for a FAA authorization, give yourself at least a minimum of 3 weeks for them to get back to you. Okay. Oh, somebody's coming back from Myrtle Beach, V-Dub. Good deal.
Thanks
So like
for
I said,
V-Dub. Drive safe, buddy.
yeah. So don't think the FAA is going to respond like LANS is going to respond. It's not instant, whatever. It may take minimum 3 weeks. I always like to give them a month or two. If you haven't gotten a response back in a month, email them or call them off the numbers available and ask them, hey, usually get a reference number on your request and say, hey, what's going on with this? Because this is when I would say poor customer service in the FAA. If there's something odd about your request or whatever, a lot of times they just throw it on the get to it later pile, And I say, if you don't call them, they may not call you. And I was very surprised that they did call me, and it might have been because of the amount of requests that I usually send in. So they said we might want to reach out to Mr. Crawford and see what's going on. Well, Adrian, we're already over our hour time, dude, and I've talked this whole time. So maybe we want to shut it down, let everybody else enjoy their Saturday evening.
Yeah.
I see TJ finally made it over.
Yeah, thank you for popping in, Brother Teach. I really appreciate that, but it's already
Yeah.
10 o'clock. Thank you for popping in, everybody. I really appreciate the love and support. Thank you, everybody in the chat that popped in. Thank you, Dre, for popping in. Really appreciate that. We'll go ahead and try to do this again next weekend, God willing. I will try my best to do the show every single week. So tell everyone I really appreciate that. Thank you for popping in. Good night, everybody. Any last words, Dre?
Like I say, everybody, hang on, enjoy the ride. Please subscribe to each other's channels. And I say, when you fly safe and fly within the rules. Thank you.
Good night. See you all later.